Prepare for a fusion of knowledge and exhilaration where education and excitement collide.
Taking you on an adventure that expands your mind and speaks to your spirit.
I'm Master Nick.
I'm Lady Dee.
We are the Dom Life.
This podcast contains sexually explicit topics and adult content.
It is intended for listeners 18 and older.
The opinions expressed in this podcast are ours alone, based on our personal thoughts, feelings, and experiences.
We understand that others may have different opinions and experiences, and we respect that. We would love to hear from you. You can reach out to us at www.thedomlife.com. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Happy New Year.
It's great to be here, and New Year's and Christmas is on the backside of it.
There you
Yay!
go. Almost time to go back to work.
I don't know about me, not quite yet,
Yeah,
but
you're
I'm
not
working
quite
on
ready.
it.
You're getting
I'm
there.
working on it.
You're getting there. All right. So we had a few other topics scheduled for today. However, we received a comment on one of our videos that kind of sparked an interest in us, and we thought it would make a good episode.
Coming after our 100th.
Coming right after our 100th episode. That is right. So the comment was, would love to hear how Lady Dee introduced Master Nick into the DS lifestyle. It would be helpful for those subs whose partners haven't been exposed to it. Any advice on how a sub can introduce it into their current vanilla relationship to see if the partner is open to it? Which I thought was great. You know, again, we love getting comments. We love getting questions. We love getting topic ideas. So
we just did a 3-part Dom.
Yep,
so
we've
let's
done it on how to do a Dom. So let's flip
Lady
it to
Dee.
submissive. So here's the episode. Open communication. Talk about it. See y'all next week.
No way. Get back over here.
Yeah. Now there's a lot to unwrap here.
First of all,
this.
we've done some episodes about how we met.
Yes, we
We've
have.
discussed how I let you know that very first night.
Yep. Very
Right?
first time of meeting. On our very first date, we met, we talked about likes and interests and hobbies and what we're into. And then it was after we left the bar and we wanted to keep talking. That's more when you got into the submissive side of you, what your needs were, things that you had to have in your life
Yes.
in order to make the relationship work. Again, for me, that was great. You basically laid your playbook in my lap.
Right. And recognizing that you hadn't done it in the
Yeah.
past.
Exactly.
Like you were kinky, I was kinky. We talked about those things.
Yep.
I had worked with a couple of Doms, but not in a relationship.
Right.
Well, at least not really. And so this was a first for me too, but at least I knew what needs I had that needed
Correct.
to be met.
So for anything to go right, I feel that went as good as it possibly could. You had experienced certain things in your life. You had realized what you liked. You already kind of knew what you didn't like, but was still open to exploring again with somebody different. But by having everything figured out in your head, what you needed in your life to feel full,
Yes.
to feel satisfied,
Right. Because I had
was perfect.
Yeah, but I needed my submissive needs to be taken into hand, but it's not an all the time thing. It's
Correct.
not so we just had to navigate that. So I basically introduced it to you. You took off on your own. Once I said it,
Right.
then it really had, other than me saying I need a little bit more of this, or I
Right.
might need more of this, or I'm feeling some way. You took it and ran.
Oh yeah.
You
Research.
started
Man,
research,
I was-
right?
I mean, any article I could find, any YouTube video I could find, I was reading it, I was watching it, I was listening, I was
I
taking
think,
notes.
sir, as my current Dom, you're doing a great job.
Current, fucking the Dom.
Well, I mean,
Nope, You need to back that up. You need to restate what you had just started saying.
Uh, all right, sir. As my one and only Dom,
Much better.
I just think that you have done a very good job of making sure that you've met my needs. There have been areas where, we've kind of laid it all out there,
Right.
areas that you needed to work, I needed to work, our contracts out there, those kind of things, all the things we negotiate and talk about day to day have been pretty
Right.
much laid bare.
Yep. It is all out there. And again, we could talk more about our journey, our path. But typically that's not the norm. It is not common for the submissive to go to their partner or to lay everything out on the line like you did. Again,
with a new date and with
Right.
some people do it in their dating profile. I know that it's becoming more mainstream,
It
but
is,
for
yes.
our age group or
For couples
it wasn't.
for couples that are already established, maybe it is harder to communicate that. So we want to take this episode. That's where we're going to focus this episode on. I mean, again, I think
from
ours
submissive
the way ours was, it was perfect.
It was textbook. Like if you had a textbook and it
Yes.
said, "This is the way it
This
should
is
work
the way it
for
should work.
us."
That's it.
He
So
had the kinky. I had the desire. I had some experience, and it allowed us to bring it here. But now we're looking at, hey, you're already in a relationship. It's a vanilla relationship.
Yep.
And we know that some of our friends have had a struggle with this
yes,
more recently.
Yes.
And part of the struggle is their partner may not want to do this stuff, or another one is kind of uncomfortable being brought into a friend group that is already established and, hey, I'd love to experience it, but I'm not sure it's right for me. So there's a whole aspect of it. But I guess that for me as a submissive, the first thing that I have to do, and I would recommend for any submissive to do, if you're trying to introduce this in your life, then you have to initially figure out what your wants are.
Yes.
They're not needs yet because you don't necessarily know that until you explore it. But what are your wants that you want to explore and experience?
Yep.
Because it could go a number of ways, right, sir?
Yes. And on that, again, if you're vanilla and have always been vanilla, you really don't know what your wants even are.
Right.
You have ideas. You have fantasies.
Yeah, even just for on the dom side.
On the dom side as well. So what is making you think you are submissive? What are you thinking would satisfy you in life?
Right.
And that's where you need to start your list.
Right. Is it in the bedroom only? Do you just need some aggressive, very, hot, steamy sex where your partner is throwing you around, throwing you on the bed, taking control, commanding you to do things? Is that what does it for you? Or are you looking to have it blend a little bit into your life?
Correct.
Like, do you want to, submit in other areas, not just in the bedroom?
Correct.
Do you want him to give you tasks? Do you want him to tell you what to do? Do you want him to give you guidance and help you to accomplish your goals? One of the things you do with water or stuff like that.
Yep.
Or
do you want it 24/7?
24/7.
And 24/7
looks different
for everybody.
Yeah.
We consider our DS a 24/7.
Yes.
There is certain things that are tasks that are everyday things.
Right.
Which is basically what keeps it a 24/7. Then there are days where additional things get added in that day.
Right.
So you've got some days where it's the bare minimum. These are the tasks that are every day that you take care of and that you do, that still keeps it in a 24/7.
Right.
And then there's days where maybe I'm feeling a little more energy and I see that you aren't in your submissive mindset. And then we amp it up a little bit. We pull 2 or 3 more tricks out of the dom bag to satisfy that submissive needs. So 24/7 doesn't necessarily mean you're always on your knees, you're crawling around, you're always serving. That's not what that means. It's having task or
activities
everyday
that show that
Yes.
you are you are submitting to
Yes.
there's a dynamic where you're giving that power exchange
Correct.
to your
And
partner.
your DS will look different than everybody else's.
Yep.
Like you said, strictly bedroom. Is it you want to be taken advantage of? You want to be shown that you are submitting your
You want the hand around your throat.
Yes,
You want to be pinned to the bed.
pinned, you want to be tied, you want to be blindfolded, you want to be gagged. That
Flogged.
stuff.
I mean, a lot of the stuff
you
we
can
do in
the
a
flogging,
scene
you
is
can
in
do
the bed as
spanking,
well.
You can do all of that for the bedroom, and it can stay in the bedroom. That is your DS dynamic, is bedroom only.
Right.
Or like you said, take it in. Do you get anxious at a restaurant? Do you want your dom to order for you? That is a DS dynamic.
Right.
Do you want your dom entering a crowded room first and clearing a path for you? That is a DS dynamic. Those little things you can start adding into your everyday life.
And you're basically you're giving up I'm submitting to you in those areas as well. I want you to be in control. Let's say it that way. I want you to be the lead.
That's where I was going with
Yep.
it. All right. So you're vanilla. You have been vanilla. Certain traits about a submissive excite you. Certain things you've seen in movies, read in books, heard on podcasts really get you excited. So you are sitting down and you are making your list of what you want to explore to determine whether that is going to be a need or a want or sounds good, but I don't like it. So you start your list, right?
Right. Following that, then the next thing is, as a submissive, I already know I'm a submissive. Like that is without a doubt, 100%. I can top another person, but I've done enough exploring that I know that it's a very limited time that I'm willing to be in control. And because in my partnership, I want to submit to my partner, you. And that's not across the boards. It's specific to you, males. I think for me, I expect a male to be more leadership dom.
Right.
We already know that sexually, I don't even get really turned on unless the person or partner I'm with has that little bit of edge as well.
Shows some kind of dominant traits.
Right. So then there are, as a submissive, signs in a relationship that I'm in, whether the person that I'm with has those kind of ability to even be a dom. Like there will be signs, I believe, maybe not 100% of the time, but there's signs that they're leaders.
There typically is. There is. I mean, you can, depending on how long you've been with this person, you can kind of judge and see, when do they take charge? Why do they take charge? Do they even take charge?
Right.
That is a good telltale sign of, yes, there is dominant traits there.
Right.
If they're willing to step in and say, this is what we're going to do, or this is where we're going.
Yeah, I've made these plans in here. I would like you to just show up. We're going to do.
Are you the typical couple that says, where would you like to eat? Oh, well, it don't matter. Okay, well, let's do pizza. Well, I'm not really feeling pizza. Okay, let's do chicken. Well, I'm not. Is your partner the type that say, you know what? This is where we're going. This is where we're going to eat. You will find something there.
So I can give you an example of the opposite side of that. The person that I dated many years ago that pulled out a wooden spoon and asked me to spank his bottom. Probably not going to be a dominant.
Probably not going to be
and
a dom.
And he's 6'2", big dude. So just saying that there are some
Could
signs.
There been a possibility he was a switch? Maybe.
Not him. Nope.
Maybe.
He wanted to eat all of his meals off of my feet. He was not a switch.
All right, so now you're adding more stuff to the story.
I'm adding more stuff to the story.
The switch keeps going further.
But
and further
again,
down.
So there's natural traits like you. You are a manager. You manage people. So there's a natural instinct. You are a firefighter. Mm-hmm. EMT, you go running into the building, not running away from the building. So there were signs and that you were a leader in life to
Right.
begin with. And then once we were together, you went to the bar, you ordered my drinks, you were cutting through the crowd.
Right.
I said, "Oh, there's a table," and you instantly got us over there and got us to the table. You asked somebody, "Hey, I see that you're leaving. Can we just take the table when you're done?" Whatever it was. But it's like there's a natural leadership in you
Right.
that leads to the dominant part of it.
Yep.
When we walk in a room, what are your signs that?
So, and again, so a lot of this for me, being a good Dom is also being a protector. I am the wall that protects you, my submissive. So if you pay attention to your partner when they enter a crowded room, what's their face expression? Where are they looking? Are they looking down? If they're looking down, not a good sign of a protector. For me as a protector, walking into a crowded room, my eyes are constantly bouncing left to right, up, down, all around. I'm checking for anything, any red flags. Do I see any kind of conflicts going on? Definitely want to avoid any of that. I'm finding a path, the cleanest, quickest path to get to where we need to go without having to really run over people or push people out of the way.
Right.
And I'm doing this while holding you directly up against my back so that you are stuck to me like glue, weaving through a room. But paying attention to me as a protector, that is a trait of a Dom. A Dom is to protect their submissive.
Right.
And by paying attention to them when it's stressful, when there's high crowd volumes, when there's any of this, if they get nervous, if they get anxious, if they're not willing to look around, scan the room, do they have the Dom traits or not? But if you see that they are, that is a good indication that you may have a good potential Dom on your hands.
Right. We both like sitting with our front to the door and our back farthest away, where we get a view of the room and a view of the door.
Right.
So we sit on the same side all the time because I have that natural, like, I can't handle that either. But that's just, again, it's a protective sign.
I would rather have more people in front of me than behind me. So anytime we go in a restaurant, obviously the waiter or the waitress will take us to a table. And there's been times if the table was way up towards the front of the room, do you have anything else open more towards the back?
Right.
I would much rather sit towards the back with my back to the least amount of people and facing especially the door and the majority of the people in there.
So what happens if they don't show any of the signs from above?
There is still potential that they can learn. There's always that ability. But by having these certain little traits, it's easier to find that Dom in them. Not saying, again, if you get anxious or stressed out in a crowded room, does that mean you cannot be a Dom? No. You can still practice. You can teach yourself. You can, learn what aspects need to take place. Maybe you're not that much of a protector, and that's fine. You can still be a Dom. You can still be pleasure Dom. You can still be a sadist. You can still do all the Dom stuff.
And then sometimes, like you mentioned, you could be a switch.
You could be a switch.
Where for this scenario, if it's a bedroom thing that you need, that your partner might step up and dominate you just in that because they like that kinky, tough, whatever side. Right. And then the other thing with that, if they're not showing signs, one of the things we've recently talked about just between us in our relationship is that there's a lot of times where I could be the problem as a submissive. If you're always taking charge, if you lead into a place, if you ask for, if you're like, oh no, I got it, and you're not letting the other person take the lead, then you've created that situation. Right. And sometimes it's really hard for women and for men. I would assume that, for a man, he's expected to lead. He's expected to do anything. And if he wants to give up that control in a power exchange, it would be very hard to do it. So we've kind of come up with some ideas, some of them specific to male, female, but some of them could be a female, like, a female dominant and a male submissive, because
Right.
we've had that on Chris and Mandy on our
Correct. And that is a prime example of, and I love the story of it. He's the male. He's the submissive. He still has a blue collar job. He still goes out every day. They take their dynamic and they made it their own. Some days she picks out what underwear for him to wear. And some days she's a little more lenient, wears something comfortable. Other days she's like, I want you to wear this because I know this is tight on you. I want you to be uncomfortable. I want you to know that I picked these out for you.
right.
And, so that is the type of stuff they do in their dynamic. But he has a blue collar job. He goes to work.
He's the man of the house.
He's the
She
man of
said,
the house.
I respect him as the man
Yes.
of my house. So, just because you submit sexually doesn't necessarily mean
And it goes
that you're
right.
both ways.
It goes back to, just because you're submissive does not mean you're weak. Does
Right.
not mean you don't have a backbone. Does not mean you don't have a say. It does not mean any of that. Being submissive does not make you any less than anybody else in the world.
Right.
So
If somebody's treating you like that, it's a red flag.
In my eyes, being submissive gives you more power than anybody else, because ultimately you hold the power as a submissive.
Right.
And you are willing to take all that power and all that trust and all that responsibility and give it to somebody else.
I think, though,
gives
that
you more.
the problem with it is that a lot of times it's portrayed in such a way that they, like, you're giving up your power,
Right.
and then people try to engage in power exchange and not realize what they're doing is not a
Right.
true power exchange, but it is abuse.
Yes.
Okay. So then if they don't, there are ways you can make small change. As a submissive,
Yes, you can.
I can make small changes. So I can ask for help. I can ask, hey, do you mind? Like, again, some of it's just because recently I have figured out that I tend to just go and do and get it done. And sometimes I'm mad in my head because I'm not getting help when I should be getting help. But then I'm the one that just went and did it and said, no, it's fine.
Right.
And what I've realized is I've come to rely on you in ways that I wouldn't have before the accident. Hey, could you open this? Doesn't that make you feel strong and powerful? Well, I'm sitting there going, I can't open it. Here you go. It's those, like, could you lift this for me? Could you just move this or do whatever? Those are things.
Or most commonly for you, can you get that off the top shelf?
Shush. I have a step stool. I have step stools all over my house.
You still couldn't reach that one the other day,
I
though.
could not. But it was way in the back. I don't even know what I did. So there you have it. But from, like, my perspective, if you're trying to introduce this into a relationship, say we're going to start I want a power exchange. I haven't verbally spoken to you yet. And I'm trying to figure out if it's a possibility even.
Right.
There are ways that you can hint or lead into.
Yes.
We sat and we talked about some of these because we had to come up with ideas like, what would you think? And what did you come up with?
All right. So one of the first things I came up with, you want to find out, you want to get reactions. You want to see what they think of it. Just randomly, instead of sitting on the couch or sitting in the chair beside him, go over, sit down in the floor between his legs. And I say his because
or
hers. Yes, I say his because I'm thinking of me. But go sit in between your legs, in the legs of your partner, and kind of take your arms and just reach up from underneath the legs and just lay them on top of their thighs.
Right.
And just sit there.
And I thought, as a submissive, that might be hard to do. If you've never done it, if you've never sat on the floor next to your partner, my thought was maybe ask for a shoulder massage. Maybe, hey, my back's really bothering me. Could you massage me for a bit? And then once the massage is done, just kind of sit there leaning against their leg for a while and see if they're petting your hair or touching you or interacting with you. That might be
Now, I do gotta stop you right there and throw a caution to you. As a man, been there, done that, still do it to this day. If you ask me for a massage, don't expect a finger to appear somewheres magically in your lower part of your body, because that's just, when I give massages, it turns me on.
Yes.
So just be cautious with the massage. You may wind up naked on the couch, and
I don't think that
could
would be a
that
problem.
could be a start to something right there as well. But
I don't think that's a problem.
no, it wouldn't be, but it could be. I'm just saying, just forewarning.
Another thing is, if we're talking us, right? Male, female, where the female's the submissive, how would you react if I crawled up into your lap?
Oh, I love it.
I
Just
can't do that right now.
crawl
Just
up,
all of you wondering.
crawl up in my lap, sit in my lap, lean back, lay your head on my chest, see what your partner does. Does he stroke your hair? Does he rub your shoulders? Does he rub your legs? Is it instantly a sexual invitation? Is he taking it as a sexual invitation?
That's the other
but
thing.
It's the kind of, it's just a judge, just to see, does he just sit there and not touch you? Well, then that could be a problem. That could be an intimacy problem that needs to be resolved before even going further into the DS dynamic. So a lot of this depends on how your partner reacts. Do you crawl up, sit in my lap, and they go, "What the fuck are you doing?"
Right.
All of this judges to determine the mindset of your partner.
Right. So, and again, right now, we're just talking ways to kind of hint at
Yes.
it. We're not talking wanting to have that discussion yet, because the discussion is the hard part. So before you get to that,
here's one I thought of. Buy a day collar or a choker. If you don't have any, they sell them on Amazon. It don't have to be anything gigantic, big. It doesn't have to say "Daddy's girl" or any of that. just a regular fashionable.
Sure?
Well, it could.
But
I would be okay with it. But just some kind of fashionable choker or day collar, something that fits snug against your neck. Buy a few of them. Put it on. Ask your partner's opinion. What do you think of this look? And then just let them know, I love how it feels on my neck.
Right.
It soothes me, or it feels so comfortable. And kind of, put it out there that you enjoy the tightness around your neck. Does that trigger something in their mind, thinking maybe she would like to be choked, or, maybe I should get her more of these for her to wear?
Made the best comment just now, and it took me this long to process it. But you said, like, don't be surprised if it turns sexual. Like, if you ask me for a massage, a lot of the things that were, not all of them, there's some that for being out and for like day-to-day stuff. But one of the things is, this stuff will lead to sex. Like, if that's not your goal, if you want submission not related to sex, then again, you're talking with your partner. This is the question.
Right.
It will most likely lead to sex. A lot of the stuff that we've talked about, putting on a negligee, putting on something sexy because you're trying to get them revved up.
Yep.
You're trying to get them engaged in a way that you haven't had before. Right. So let's make them hot as hell. Exactly. Because then they'll throw you around a little bit, so that's in the bedroom. But there's also, like, for me, maybe when you're with your partner at a restaurant, say, hey, here's what I'd like to order. Could you just order it for me?
Yes.
Because that's a way to give up power in little bits. Yep. Like, could you just order it for me? I would be happy if you would just order it.
Or, if you all walk across the parking lot, and if you're always the first one to get to the door, walk to the door, step to the side, the opposite side that it opens, step to that side and just stand and wait.
That's what I do. And it gets really weird when Master Nick isn't with me. I'm with a friend. We both walk up to the door and I pause. And then I go, oh, yeah, I'm not with Master Nick. Let me open that door.
Right. But, get them into the habit of opening that door for you and letting you in. It's those little small things, like you said.
Right.
You want to be a little more subtle about it. If you're doing this and you're still not getting a reaction, or you're still not thinking you're getting any kind of a response, find an article, find a book. One of these, they call them smut books, where you've got all the
naughty
sex
romance,
scenes. Yes.
naughty. Trigger warnings.
Find some of these. And I know they've got them in magazines. I've seen y'all's damn women's magazines, how to seduce him, how to do all this.
Oh, have you?
Oh, yeah. When you're standing,
do
when
they
I used
even
to,
have magazines
I
anymore?
don't know. It's been so long since I've been to a grocery store. But when I used to go to the grocery store while standing in line, I would always read the headlines. But there was some in there, how to introduce this or how to do that. Find some of this stuff and intentionally leave it open to a scene or an article,
a sexy part.
Leave it laying somewhere where it can be found. And let your partner find it and let them go, what's this? What are they reading? What are they looking at? Oh, okay. Is there any kind of reaction, or do they want to come and talk to you about, hey, I've seen this, what's going on?
Well, the other thing would be, if you're reading something sexy, you can turn it to them and say, hey, read this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's so hot. I think I could enjoy that maybe, or I don't know. What do you think? That kind of, because there's so many books out there with the trigger warnings that cover basically anything you could possibly want. I'm sure there's a book out there that does it.
Yes. All right. So this episode is going a little longer than I'd hoped.
No way.
So it is going to roll
when we're
over
talking
into
submissive, it should always be long.
Well, we're going to have to roll over into a part 2.
Sweet.
So stick around. We'll be back next week with part 2. See you then.
Thank you for joining us. Please follow, and share our podcast.
Make sure to visit thedomlife.com, where you can find pictures and other details about the Dom Life podcast. And through the Contact Us button, you can ask questions or provide recommendations for future episodes.
We want to explore your kink too.
Be sure to check out upcoming events to see where our adventures are taking us, and our photo gallery to where we've been.
Thank you for joining us on this journey. We hope you had fun listening and learning with us.
Till next time, keep calm and remember your safe word.
Red, red, red.